Hello United fans, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. There's so much to talk about in this build up to Aston Villa versus Man United game. One of the things we'll look at is the reaction to yesterday's Ralf Ragnick's press conference. We're also going to look at the Cristiano Ronaldo demanding change of mentality from United players. And apart from that, there's also news concerning Van de Beek and Henderson's transfers, as well as we'll talk about the team selections, the how Aston Villa or Man United may set up for this game, because this is going to be a very interesting tie. When you look at the last game that was played at Old Trafford, it was a very close call for Man United. And yeah, there will be so much to talk about in terms of what really to expect from this game today. But to me, this is a must-win game for Man United. Either way, it's a must-win for Man United. But we look at why Man United has to win this game, and why it's not going to be easy at Villa Park. But we'll also look at the team news and all that, because I believe there are a set of players that are going to come in for this match that were not in the FA tie, which may change the dynamics of the game or how the game will be played, as well as shift. It can also shift easily from one side to the other. But we could see from how Villa played at Old Trafford, it was a very tight call. It was a very tight call, and yeah, Man United were able to go through, but it was not one of the performances that you will really be happy about. So we're going to discuss that, and if you've not subscribed in our channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, follow us, because there's so much from the channel that you're going to get, and we can give you just to mention a few. We've just launched our online store, so you'll be able to buy jerseys, water bottles, branded ones, sweatpants, hoodies with your favorite club logos, your favorite channels as well. And this we are doing together with Joel, Hampton, supplies. So you need to follow us. You need to look at the channel, the link below for our online store. We've actually listed a few number of the items, yes, but we are going to list so many of them as we go on. The other thing is you need to subscribe, because one of the things we are going to do this weekend, we are going to be able to discuss, to analyze, and to give you updates on jackpots and predictions, which could really help you. If you're one of the bettors, you can actually benefit from it. You get a first-hand information on some of our predictions of the jackpots. Especially, we'll start with Betika, and then we'll move also to Sport Pesa, and finally, we're also able to get some of the many updates, concerning Fantasy Premier League, and one of our own, which will take you through the team selections, which players to buy, which players to sell, to make sure that you score the maximum points in the Premier League. And you never know, maybe you could be getting the monthly rewards. So subscribe to our channel, follow us, and you'll get all these updates from us. Now let's get into it. Yesterday, Ralf Ragnick in his press conference was asked a number of very interesting questions concerning team performance, concerning his expectation of the team, concerning team selections, performance of players like the likes of Rashford. One thing that came very clearly to me in his press conference is the fact that he clearly came out to say that at this point in the Premier League, the performance may not matter so much to him. What matters to him right now is getting the 3 points, not dropping points, getting the maximum points possible. And it is true, because you can't really blame him. You're fighting for a top 4 And as you look at it, we lost our last Premier League game against Southampton 1-0 at Old Trafford. And had we won that game, we would have had a better chance today. But we start from a far point, and I could understand his desire to get points rather than have the iconic performance that he wants, the Genga pressing style of football that he wants to introduce, because this is not going to be easy at the beginning, which is clearly understandable. But one of the elements he mentioned was particularly in relation to Rashford and his expectations of the players. And you see, as per him, Rashford's, as he was explaining Rashford's performance against Aston Villa, that in the first 20 minutes he was top of his game, and then after that he faded away. And these are some of the things they want to speak about and correct. And he also spoke about expecting that all the players will be able to give their best when they're in the pitch. But in terms of control, in terms of team performances and the progression that is there, yes, he didn't really come out to say that he has made progress with the team, but he said that they have made some improvement. Now, some improvement, it's not so clear how, because many of us see Man United struggling more, and I don't know, but it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, and one of the things that came out was actually Dean Henderson's request to move to another club on loan, because clearly he wants game time, and Ralf didn't deny that. He came out and said, at the age, at Dean Henderson's age, he needs to be playing regularly. But Ralf says he really would like to keep Dean Henderson in the club and have 3 good goalkeepers. But clearly, some of these things, you can't really blame Dean Henderson. He wants to go and play in the World Cup, and he's clearly not going to get many game time because De Gea currently is top of his game, and believe me, even me myself, I would choose De Gea any other day. So Dean Henderson, yes, it's understandable, but again, the problem is Ralf Ragnick is really acting as an interim manager at the moment. So how much do you expect him to do? He can probably just, ask the players to stay until the end of the season, and a new manager comes in, or probably do the opposite of similar thing that Ole Gunnar did when he asked Sergio Romero to stay, and then after a year he throws him out of the team. So it's a very tricky affair, and the same thing goes with Van de Beek. Van de Beek, and this is the most interesting part. I'll tell you this. I don't know what is happening at Manchester United, but for Van de Beek, if you one that follows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conferences, he will praise the performances of Van de Beek in training. And the same thing is going on with Ralf Ragnick, praising how professional, how high intensity Van de Beek trains. But the funny part of it is that they never pick him. So does it mean that Fred and McTominay are better midfielders than Van de Beek? I don't know. But I really ask myself, why do they praise him that he trains well and he's a professional player, but then don't give him a chance to show that in the pitch? It's a very weird question. But as at now also, Van de Beek also requested that he moves away, and Ralf Ragnick came out in the press conference to say that he understands Van de Beek wants to play more, and also that Louis van Gaal has asked him to play regularly for him to have a chance to play in the World Cup, and that is becoming one of the big priorities for many of United players. The likes of Lingard, the likes of Henderson, the likes of Van de Beek, they want to go to the World Cup, and I'm very sure that is some of the reason why even Martial is wishing to move to another club on loan, so that he can play regularly and have a chance to go to the World Cup. So those are some of the updates that came out from Ralf Ragnick. But of course, he also spoke, and that is one of the things I was going to talk about, the issue of mentality of United players. And this one was actually based so much on the discussion on this interview that Cristiano Ronaldo had with Sky Sports, where he was saying that for Man United to go back to the winning ways, there has to be a shift in mentality. And it is very true. And Ronaldo came out saying, when I was 18, I would follow what my senior players said because they have been in the club, they have been in the team, and they understand why they're telling you that. But Ronaldo clearly was questioning some of the young talents that we have, that they're not listening, they're not going for advice. So to him, there should be a shift in mentality. And that's something that even Ralf Ragnick in his press conference agrees with, because he says he has leaders and he expects them to have leaders. And he mentions a number, Cavani, Bruno, Lindelof, that are leaders, not only that are leaders and role models, not only on the pitch, but also in the dressing room. And he admits, yes, that we have young talents that we need to develop, and the decision making in the third and the attacking part also has to improve, so that we become fluid, not making a pass too late or making a pass too early. But it's very interesting, Ronaldo coming out with such comments. It really makes you wonder, what is the unity or togetherness of this squad in the dressing room? Does it mean the issues that we are hearing of dissatisfaction are some of the things that are taking effect in the team, and that there are clique of groups, maybe young players, maybe senior players, you really wonder. But it's a very brevity of Cristiano Ronaldo to come out and say about that. But also Ralf Ragnick said he needs to encourage more the players to come out and speak about these things, because they need to sort them out if they have to move on, and they have to play as a team. And to gain performances, they have first to get results and then correct some of the areas. That's very interesting intake from updates from Ralf Ragnick. But now let's go into today's game and look at some of the possible lineups, those players who are going to miss out and those who are going to be there, and also what to expect in this game. Myself, I'm expecting a very hard game against Aston Villa, because you could clearly see what they were trying to do at Old Trafford, and they completely outrun our midfield, and you could understand, we're playing a midfield of Mark Fred. That is 2 against 4, because basically Aston Villa were playing McGinn, and they were playing David Luiz, Jacob Ramsey, and Budea. These guys completely have, masterclassed our midfield, and you could see they created chance after chance, and Man United was very lucky to get away with 1-0. Villa could have easily won the game, and they scored some very good goals, and Man United were lucky enough that those goals were ruled out by VAR. But that was at Old Trafford, and today Man United is playing at Villa Park. And this Villa team, to give you just a few updates, I know John McGinn is going to miss the game because he's suspended. Traore is on duty with his team at Africa Cup of Nations. Trezeguet also are the same. So we expect a few changes from Villa team, of course. I don't expect much of changes in the defense. Maybe Lucas Dean, the new signing, could come in. In the midfield, I believe it will still be David Luiz. Maybe now Sanson will come in to replace McGinn. I still expect Ramsey, and I expect Coutinho to come in that team, and Ole Watkins. Maybe you never know. Maybe Coutinho will start in the bench, and then Ings starts, then Ings starts in front, but it will be a very strong Villa team. And clearly you could see from how they play and the signings that they've done of Coutinho and Lucas Dean, that they're trying to create more scoring chances for the team, and that is going to happen. And you see them create a number of chances at Old Trafford, and they actually played with brevity, because you could see what they are trying to do. You could see them completing 3 or 4 passes, doing counter attacks, something that has been very hard to come with for Man United. But looking at the United team, I don't know whom you will select to play today, because Man United needs a very big response. One, because of what has been going in the club in the last few weeks. I could clearly see there are problems, a number of problems here and there. Two, we lost our last game at home against Wolves, so definitely there is need for a big response. And if we have to fight for the top 4, which we have to, and you could hear from what Christiano said, that he didn't come to Man United to fight for 6th and 7th place, and that he expects Man United to be able to take the first 3 positions. As we speak right now, Liverpool is 11 points ahead of Man United, so clearly 3rd place will be very hard for us to be there. But we can fight for 4th place, but we need consistency, and results, a run of good results. And so it will be interesting to see how Ralf Ragnick, clearly picks his team today. Myself, I expect De Gea to be in the goal. I don't expect Dean Henderson to get a chance, especially because this is a Premier League. Maybe Dean Henderson will get his chance when it comes to FA. That is if he stays. I expect, for me, I will start Dalot ahead of Bissaka, and then play Varane and Lindelof. I know Lindelof didn't play so well in the last game against Villa, but you could understand we didn't have a centre back, and he was just back from COVID effect, So I would understand if he didn't have a good game that day, but I expect him to play this game. I don't expect Maguire to come in, because sincerely speaking, Maguire has not performed that well. Yeah, and right now I would go for Lindelof, because Bailey is not there. I would go for Lindelof over Maguire. So I would expect Varane and Lindelof to start. But I believe Maguire being the captain, there's a higher possibility that it's going to be chosen straight back into the first 11 by Ralf Ragnick. I don't know what would be your pairing, but for me, I would go for Lindelof and Varane in this case. Now, on the left-hand side of defense, that is for Teles. I just expect that he will be able to do more today and have a good game. Definitely, Luke Shaw is suspended and he cannot play, so out and right, Teles will play in that position. Midfield. Now, this is where the most interesting part is, because if you are able to follow post-match reaction from Ralf Ragnick when we beat Aston Villa 1-0 on Monday, he said that we controlled the game better when Van de Beek came in and we switched into a diamond, and he the first question in his press conference yesterday was, what is going to happen? And he said, the good thing is that we now know what we are going to face. We know how they play. Yeah, we saw it firsthand. So my question is he going to go for the diamond, or is he going to to stick to 4-2-2-2? For me, I would go for a diamond, and I would start Matic, Fred, and Van de Beek in the midfield. But you never know with this, with the Ralf Ragnick, and playing Villa away. it will be interesting to see whom he chooses in the midfield, because one, McTominay is suspended. If McTominay was there, I would have gone for McFred myself, because that Villa midfield is a hard nut to crack, and Matic is slow. You know, we need someone who can run, who can cover ground and all that. Matic is very slow. Unfortunately, he has to start today, but I would have gone with McFred, you know, and maybe play Van de Beek and have a diamond and more control of the game. But it will be interesting to see who does he go for. Does he go for Fred and Matic, or does he in a midfield too, or does he go for a diamond with Van de Beek included? But unfortunately, I'm not so sure whether he will start Van de Beek. Van de Beek, his chances seems to be very slim of playing every game, despite, you know, people being suspended. Bruno was not there in one of the games. Is it against Wolves or is it against which team? And he still could not play. Pogba is out with an injury, but his chances are so minimal. So honestly speaking, to me, if I was Van de Beek, I would put in a transfer request and say I want to go, because if he didn't get his chances like when Ole Gunnar was there, he can't get his chances when Ralf Ragnick is there. Then what is the need for him staying in this team? You know, you can't just be there forming numbers. He's a young person who needs to be playing frequently, and I think Man United are wasting his abilities. And he clearly, if you look at this midfield of McFred, he can clearly add value, you know, and stability in that midfield, you know. But I don't know, maybe Ralf will decide how he plays it. Up front, I expect Bruno to play. I expect Sancho to come in, whether for Greenwood or Rashford, but I want Sancho to start. I mean, because he can create chances, he can pass, and he's a different kind of a winger, unlike Rashford and Greenwood are more forwards, and that's why you get in the final third, Greenwood wants to score, Rashford wants to score, nobody wants to pass. And for me, I think starting Sancho makes sense, and I'm very happy that he's back, because we really missed him in the last game against Villa. So that is Bruno and Sancho for me starting. Then up front, I will start Cavani, but that also depends with whether Cristiano will be available. Of course, Ralf was asked about availability of Cristiano and Sancho and Maguire, and he said Cristiano trained on Thursday for the first time, but he was going to be assessed. But the news coming from the Mirror was that Cristiano actually left training very early yesterday after feeling his thigh. So I think he still has that thigh injury, which I doubt whether he will be available. Probably will start in the bench if he's available. So I would expect Cavani to come in for him. Of course, Sancho will be available, and Maguire I think also will be available. So I will start. So my team will be Dalot, Varane, Lindelof, Teles, Matic, Fred, and Van de Beek, and then the front three to be Sancho, Bruno, and Cavani. But I'm more than expecting probably Rashford to start, and that will depend with how we go for the midfield. We go for 2 and then have 4 attacking players, or do we go for a diamond and then have 3 attacking players? Because Rashford has a very high chance of starting, because I think Ralf Ragnick likes him because of the pace that he brings into the team. So there's a possibility that probably Van de Beek doesn't start and Rashford starts, so that the front 4 becomes Cavani, Rashford, Sancho, maybe, and Bruno. But for me, I would go for a diamond, and probably as Aston Villa were in the second half, then bring in Rashford to bring that pace, and that we can hit them on the break very hard, you know. But it will be an interesting way. Please give your take, leave a comment. What do you think should be the best team to play against Aston Villa? What do you think we need to look at? What do you think is missing with this team? And what is your take about Van de Beek, the likes of Henderson and Martial? Should Martial be playing as he waits for his transfer, or do you think Ralf Ragnick is right to force him out of the team because he has requested to leave? It's very, very, very interesting. But that is a review. On my predictions, I believe Man United should be able to edge Aston Villa. My prediction will be a 2-1. I don't think we are going to keep a clean sheet in this game. Given the chances that Aston Villa created in our last game, I don't think we are going to keep a clean sheet. But the chances are that they are going to score. The only thing is how many can they score? How many chances will they take? But I believe we will not play a very good game, an interesting game to watch, but we may take our chances and win this game 2-1. So that's my prediction. What is your prediction for the game? Do you expect Villa will be able to outclass Man United, or Man United will see this one through? Also, please subscribe, follow the channel. We'll be doing our first jackpot prediction, which we'll be doing on a weekly basis for midweek and for weekend. So be on the checkout for that. Also, order your merchandise, order your jersey, and keep it tight. We say all the best to Man United, and we will discuss this game tomorrow after the in our match reaction, or after the game today. So welcome to the channel, subscribe, follow us, and thank you for watching.